Hello, everybody. This is DCE, and I just wanted to thank those of you who bothered to listen to my recordings. I really do appreciate it. It's been a hot summer. Ooh, very hot summer. So thank you, my subscribers, my listeners, my followers. I really do appreciate you. So let me just get straight to this, okay? Okay. So last night, I finally had a chance to watch the latest episode of A Handmaid's Tale on Hulu. Now, I just want to, in this little recording, just talk a bit about some of the major characters, the men, and from what I've observed about them from seasons 1, 2, and 3. But I'm just going to focus this recording on Commander Detective Stabler, and I'm calling him Commander Detective Stabler, the character depicted by Chris Meloni, the actor, because I don't remember his last name on A Handmaid's Tale, okay? So him, Commander Mackenzie, and of course, Commander Big Head Fred. All right, so we saw last night that Commander Detective Stabler got. Good for him. Finally. Thank you, June. Thank you. Now, when we were introduced to Commander Detective Stabler this season, in his home by Fred and Serena Joy, it's obvious that the man, if those are his biological children, is very virile. He had a whole bunch of children, a huge rainbow tribe, and so I lost count of them. I guess I could go back and just watch the episode again and watch him and count the number of kids he had in that house. But I want to know, how many handmaids did this man go through over the years in Gilead? Oh gosh, he had a whole bunch of kids. So anyways, my impressions of Commander Detective. Of course, those men in that position, their main goal, we know what their goal is, okay? Obviously very controlling, evil, sick, maniacal, smart, somewhat dumb. And I say he's somewhat dumb because later in that first episode, didn't we see he made a sexual pass at Commander Big Head Fred? You all remember when they were in, I guess, a game room in Commander Detective House, and he pushed up on him. He basically got behind him, got too close, very close, made a sexual pass at him. He did. And Commander Big Head Fred didn't acknowledge it, but he knew what was going on, okay? Of course, we did not see anything sexual occurring between those two. But after that, I was like, oh my God. So how many other commanders in Gilead did he make passes at and actually get something out of? And if not a commander, how many other men, period, of a lower rank than of a commander did he make a pass at and definitely just take what he wanted from them? I mean, because it's obvious that he and those other high-ranking men in Gilead, they have no problems with taking what they want from women, okay? So I'm sure he has no problem with taking what he wants from men. So, all right. Commander Detective. He gave Fred the idea about delaying the negotiations for getting the baby back from Canada, or the free zone, whatever it is they call it. And Fred went along with it because he's a manipulative turd blossom as well. And I think it was the previous episode, the episode from last week, where I thought that commander detective, he fell right into the beginning of Fred's trap, in my opinion, when Fred suggested to him, well, let's just go ahead and see what's going on with Commander McKenzie, and he didn't, of course, say all of this, but we know he was upset that apparently June, on a certain level, liked and respected Commander McKenzie, and he felt as if, what is McKenzie doing? Why is McKenzie giving June so much freedom? Why is he respecting her? I don't like that. Now, we know that big head Fred, he don't love June. He just love himself and having control and power, and he's working his way up the food chain. Okay? And so Commander McKenzie, even though Serena Joy said, don't you think that's a little too much, that, having to sit there, go into their home, McKenzie home, and make sure that he's actually having sex with June, don't you think that's too much? And Commander Detective went right along with it. Now, I was sitting there thinking, why is this man going along with Big Head Fred? Can't he see that if Big Head Fred is trying to make a backdoor move on a commander of the status and genius of McKenzie, didn't he think that eventually Big Head Fred was going to come for him? Okay. So anyways, we all saw what happened with that. They went into Commander McKenzie's house and, did that, make sure they had sex and whatnot. But to wrap this up on Commander Detective, I believe that if June did not kill him in this past episode, Big Head Fred would have used Commander Detective's sexual proclivities against him, and Big Head Fred would have made certain that Commander Detective would have ended up on the wall or killed some way, somehow, and he would have assumed Big Head Fred's power after he got, and also made sure he got rid of Commander McKenzie, because Big Head Fred, he's all about that power. He want the power. Okay? And done behind Commander Detective, he made that pass at Fred, and he opened the door wide up for Fred to, have something to use against him in Gilead. But anyway, goodbye, Commander Detective. I'm glad June killed you. Because you're just an evil dog, evil, dirty dog, and an upholder and overseer of all things wrong in the world of Gilead. I'm sorry your kids, well, no, I ain't too sorry that your kids won't see you again, because who knows what you would have done, or if you hadn't already been doing it to your own kids. Okay, goodbye. Now, on to Commander McKenzie. All right, Commander McKenzie. Oh, my God. Sorry about that. Got a phone call. But anyway, Commander McKenzie is obviously a very smart man. Extremely smart. And if he did not use his genius for the dark side, he could have been a more likable person, okay? But with Commander McKenzie, besides his gentle treatment of the women within his house, which I do like that, the fact that he did not, that he's treating them as people and giving them certain freedoms. And he know that the things that I don't know if his housekeeper, they're Marthas, but he know what his Marthas are up to and been up to for years, but he's giving them certain freedoms to a certain extent. I like that. But he still deserves a rest of his life in prison. Okay, he does. And I'm glad that he has decided, I guess for the sake of his wife, to not make babies. And it might be beyond for the sake of his wife. Maybe he has some guilt about what he's helped mastermind in Gilead, and has decided that he did not want to reproduce. And that's good of him. Good of him. You still need to go to prison, Mackenzie. But hey, thank you for not adding to the mess that you helped create it. Okay, now, what I want to know about Mackenzie and his wife. Obviously, his wife has some mental issues. And I'm hoping that in one of the remaining episodes left, that we get to see more details. We learn something about why his wife is the way she is. Apparently, before Gilead, she was struggling with her mental health issues, and the husband knew about it and was trying to, assist her. But I want to know, when Gilead happened, when Gilead became Gilead, and knowing her husband had a role in it becoming in the creation of it, I want to know, just at what point did she break, and how did she break? Because in the last episode, she acknowledged that he deserves to go to prison, but he has to recognize that what he did contribute to her mental state. And it doesn't matter how much medication she gets in her system. The fact that the world is the way it is, that medication will never take it away. And her knowing that, she loves this man, is married to this man who created this hellhole that I'm in, and all of these other women and children are in. Okay? So I just want to know more of their backstory. What happened to her? What happened? And even before Gilead, this woman apparently, she's was some type of professional. I'm sure that throughout their marriage, the years before Gilead, she had to have seen some things that was causing her to break down more and more and more. Okay, now I'm not totally blaming him for her mental state, but come on now, he had a party. And he mentioned last night to June that when they were creating Gilead, they did not take into account the effect that motherhood would have on the handmaids, and did not take into account mental health of people. Yeah, he definitely didn't take into account the mental health of people. Surely not. But I want to know what's going to happen to him. He does deserve prison. I think he would welcome death. No, he needs prison. Now, last man, Commander Big Head Fred. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Serena Joy, did you set him up, girl? Did you set him up? Did you make that deal with that Canadian official about your daughter to set Big Head Fred up to get him locked up? If you did, well played. Well played. But I'm starting to think that her goal is not to take the baby back to Gilead, and she's not going to return to Gilead. She wants to be free. And she made the decision when she saw Fred all in Commander Mackenzie's house. When Fred made that decision and manipulated Commander Detective to do that, and she saw Fred and overheard him talking to June, that's when she pushed the button. She said, okay, yeah, this man is crazy. There's no love in him, only lust and love for power. So I'm pretty sure she's not going to return to Gilead. She's going to leave the baby with June's husband. But I want to know what's going to happen to Big Head Fred. I'll continue this in the next part.